Good afternoon. We're going to start working on our raised bed garden. Had a lot of experience with growing carrots in a square foot garden, and so we're going to plant them in our raised bed garden, and we're going to compare raw seed, planting raw seed versus using seed tapes. I've always used seed tapes because the seed in them is spaced properly, so you don't have to do as much thinning. And so, we're going to put a stake on each side of the raised bed where that row is going in. We make the row just very shallow with the board, and with the seed tapes, you just tear one row off, and you start on one end and secure it, and then you just unroll the seed tape and put a little bit of soil over the seed tape as it unrolls. And there's 5 feet of seed tape in each segment, which leaves us 1 foot too short. So we'll take a foot off the second seed tape. Okay, so we add that extra foot on the end, and we have our first row of carrots planted. Now in our square foot garden, we can plant the rows much closer together than we do in a soil garden. So we're planting the rows 4 inches apart. And so you take the board, we have the first row in. In this row we're going to use raw seed. So we place the board at our mark, which is 4 inches from the row that I just planted, and we make our row. So one of the varieties that they wanted planted was a new variety called Bolito, seed sent from one of our suppliers. And so we're going to plant the raw seed. So because the carrot is very, very small seed, you have to be careful that you don't plant too much. Ooh. Almost too windy. When the seed starts to come up, we're going to have to thin it because it's very difficult to control the amount of seed that you're putting in when you're using raw seed. One of the things that I also do when I'm planting carrots is I plant radishes, a few radishes with the carrots, and that the carrot, the radishes mark the row, so you can see where the row is. And so we don't put many in, but we put a few in. So I'm going to take and just put a couple along here. And that's double cropping too, so we can eat radishes probably in 25-30 days. And that'll act sort of as a nurse crop also to help break the soil, especially if you're using regular garden soil. Okay, so that row is planted. So now we'll just make sure that the seed is covered, and you don't have to plant carrot seed very deep, and it will come up quite easily. And especially in this soil, this raised bed is a brand new raised bed, and what we did with this one is it's 15 inches high. We put the bottom 8 inches in chipped wood that was a byproduct of a person that cuts down trees in this area. And then on top of that we put some compost, and then on top of that I put some other finely divided compost so that we could plant the carrot seed much easier. So I'm going to continue on planting. I've got about 6 or 8 varieties that I have to plant, so we're not going to bore you with me doing that. We'll maybe speed up the tape a little bit. So we've got our carrots and radishes to mark the rows planted. I think the reason that the seed tapes work so well is that the seed is embedded in paper, and once that paper is wet, it keeps the seeds wet. So even if it gets dry out, the paper keeps the seed wet and it comes up much faster. So we'll watch the germination as the seeds come up, and we'll see where the first things appear, because you can see which ones we put in as seed tapes and which ones we did as raw seed. Hoping for a great carrot crop. This is Dick Zondag, the Garden Doctor.